19 bookings, a brawl, and the GOAT cursing out an opponent on live TV. All of this was delivered to us on the 9th of December 2022 in the most violent game in football history. The quarterfinal between Argentina and the Netherlands at the 2022 World Cup. This game was so heated, it was dubbed the Battle of Lucayo. This battle didn't just start in 2020. Then Argentina and Netherlands have a long-standing rivalry which dates back all the way to the 70s. These guys almost always meet at the World Cup. They met in the group stage in 1974, the final in 1978, the quarterfinal in 1978, semifinal in 2006, and most recently the quarterfinal in 2022. The 1978 World Cup was hosted by Argentina, and it was alleged that there was a lot of political pressure, much of which favored Argentina throughout the tournament. Our Argentina won the final 3-1, denning the Netherlands, a first ever World Cup trophy. And you could say that was where the Dutchmen started.
The Argentines in 1998. The Netherlands won with a 90th minute winner from Bergkamp, which is still regarded as one of the greatest goals in World Cup history. The 2014 semi-final was tight. It ended 0-0, and Argentina went on to win on penalties. Interestingly, the man in charge of the Dutchmen at the 2014 tournament was the same man in charge in 2022. Luis van Gaal had retired in 2019, but he came out of retirement for one last dance with the Netherlands national team. The tournament started great, much better than Argentina's. The Netherlands topped their group without losing a single game. Meanwhile, Argentina lost their opening game of the tournament to a more inferior Saudi Arabia. The Netherlands' unbeaten streak going into the quarterfinal was near, and they were looking to extend it. Perhaps all of that gave the Dutchmen too much confidence, and they started to make some really bold statements in build-up to the game. Van Gaal said, "We have got to score to settle Argentina for what happened 2 World Cups ago." But more controversially, he suggested that Lionel Messi was Argentina's weak link, and that really upset the Argentines. They don't joke about their captain, so they made sure to hold a grudge. The man in charge of this game was Matu Lahoz, the now retired Spanish referee known as no-nonsense referee, whose fingers were not too far from a card. The first 10 minutes were a key affairs. Both sides had chances, but they were very disciplined at the back, so nothing went through. In a 10 minutes, Messi found Acuna, but the fullback was unable to find anybody in the box with his cross. Minutes later, a pass was threaded to Steve Bergwijn, but Annie Martinez was quick to come out and claim the ball. In the 22nd minute, we saw Messi hit the ball, the wide of the mark from outside the box, and shortly. After that, Bergwijn also went wide from just outside the box. There was really nothing between these guys for the first 30 minutes of the game, and we all knew that it would take something spectacular for deadlock to be broken, and that was exactly Lionel Messi who provided in the 35th minute. The former Barcelona man come up with one of the most insane defense-splitting passes we have ever seen. Now, E.I. Molina got at the end of it, and boom, Argentina were a good up. Messi had just started one of the craziest assists in the World Cup history, but little did we know that he was going to give us even more unforgettable moments that same day. But for now, the game was still taking rather peaceful and straightforward. We had seen only one yellow card, and it went to Argentina's assistant coach Walter Samuel. How can you call this game the most violent match in football history? Well, with just minutes left in the first half, the player said, "Hold my beer," and thing really start to heat up. Second half, the first yellow card to a player came in the 43rd minute, after Acuna caught Denzel Dumfries. Pretty late. Jurriën Timber was made the foul, and he reacted by pushing Acuna to the ground. Laos didn't hesitate to show him a yellow card too. Just 30 minutes later, Cristiano Romero handled the ball, pretty blatantly, and was immediately booked for that. The Netherlands would then get a free kick that looked threatening, but Martinez handled it rather easily, he would. Later, Hope was able to handle an even more important free kick. Just as easily, later in the game, but for now, the card didn't start flowing. Wout Weghorst was so desperate to get it in on the action that he got booked. While in the bench, the Dutch fans must have seemed so mad at him for getting such pointless yellow. Little did they know he was warming up. Some real heroics for the second half was really heating. Now we had gone 42 minutes without seeing any player getting booked, only for us to see focus booking in 5 minutes. Everyone thought that the halftime break would help quell the volcano that was brewing, but it actually went on to erupt fully. In the second period, the Netherlands were so desperate to get back into the game. So they came into the second half. Breathing fire, their attacking efforts intensified, tackles intensified, and the violence most definitely intensified not long into the second half. Wayne Freeze, Van Dijk combined and brought Messi down just outside the box, which provided Messi a good scoring chance, but his strike just scraped the crossfire. Then, in the 71st minute, Acuna was brought down by Dumfries just at the edge of the box. So, Lahoz awarded Argentina a penalty. Messi stepped up and converted a pretty cooling 2-0 Argentina. After Messi was done celebrating with his team, he walked towards Netherlands and cued his ears in Van Gaal's direction, a gesture which had huge symbolism. That celebration was done by Juan Roman Riquelme, a man who regards Messi as one of his heroes. So Van Gaal coach R. Riquelme at Barcelona, and to cut the long story short, the Dutchmen nearby ended the Argentina's career by consistently refusing to play him, but Riquelme would later get a chance. And when he scored, he cued his ears at Van Gaal. So after everything Van Gaal said about him, Zrenia before the game, Messi felt that was the most appropriate gesture in the moment. After having scored and put his team 2 goals up, Messi have thought that his 73rd minute goal had sealed the win for his team. But it seems Messi poked the bear with his celebration. After that goal, Van Gaal made a very huge change. He took off Memphis and brought in Wayne. Just before that change, something interesting happened. A cross was sent into Argentine box, and Annie Martinez get to it first. And Luc de Jong found himself on the group that led to a little altercation, which saw the referee show yellow cards to Memphis and Lisandro Martinez. But if you think that was it for the bust-ups in this game, you are in for a real shocker. After Weghorst came in, Netherlands coach said, "To hell with build-ups," and just instructed his players to cross the ball in for the 6'6" center forward. Did it work? You bet it. Did just 5 minutes after he came no Weger to the end of a beautiful cross from Burho and Harid. The deficit in the 83rd minute. Now, this was when the real battle started. The Netherlands intensified their efforts to get an equalizer. Argentina got super nervous, losing their leading in the 85th minute. Berghuis hit the side netting. Shortly, after which he saw yellow for a foul on Messi at the center of pitch. And then, in 88th minute, we reached the crescendo of the whole brouhaha. The real battle of Lucaille fouled Arcade, but like that wasn't bad enough. He stood up and booted the ball straight into the Netherlands bench, and all the hell was let loose. The entire Dutch bench came storming towards Parades, and as expected, the Argentina came to lend assistance to their teammates, and a proper brawl broke out. Perhaps the biggest fight we have seen. In a World Cup game, tensions rose to the roof as players fell to the ground. The action was going down as the cards were flying up. Parades and Scaloni saw yellow at that moment, but that was only just the beginning. Maho was still going to show a lot more cards in that game, but for now he managed to get the game under control lengthy. Additional time was a theme of this World Cup, and this match did not disappoint us. 10 minutes were added, and once that number went up on the board, we all just knew that this box office football match still had some more dramas for us, and we were not wrong. In additional time, we saw Nicolas Otamendi and Lionel Messi get booked, but more significantly, we saw the Netherlands get awarded a free kick in the very last minute of stoppage time. We thought that CP Miners would just blast the ball, hope for the best. But instead, he went for a tricky pass which beat the Argentine wall, and War, who scored the entire stadium, went up in the ruptures. We have seen just one of the great free kick routines in the World Cup history, and it coming in the very last second of this crazy game felt like the icing on an insane cake, but the match still wasn't over.